Welcome back. Despite expressing support for the recently tabled trial by judge alone bill 2024, members of the opposition are raising concerns about the practicality of the bill. St. Anne's Member of Parliament Adrian White posed a number of questions to the government during his contribution and says some provisions under the bill are not feasible under the already burdened judicial system and may conflict with the Constitution.
So the first concern, and it's a real concern, but I will ultimately, and I do support this bill, the first concern is that while we have the option for a trial by judge alone, the majority of persons convicted of indictable offenses are still likely to put their outcome in the hands of 12 as opposed to 1. Madam Speaker, I looked at our Constitution. The provision has been raised here. There is a right to trial by jury. My concern is that in the process of justice being carried out, if the outcome isn't favorable to an accused, the defendant, then there is more than likely to be some sort of technical challenge based on our Constitution.
Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, says the government must look at the bigger picture, questioning if the bill would have a real impact on reducing crime.
We should focus on being productive as opposed to being busy. And while a lot of what the government may be doing in terms of crime prevention and fighting crime may be busy, we need to also make sure that your busyness is also being productive. And so while, yes, this is something that has been suggested, this is something that has been agreed to, and yes, we have no objection to proceeding with it, I think, again, we need to also, when we put this in place, be able to look at the data. So in 6 months, a year, look at the data to see whether or not this is actually productive, whether this is actually working.
Mr. Thompson says, in tandem with the bill, the government should also explore why potential jurors are reluctant to serve. He says that it may be time to increase stipend for jurors and provide access to protection in higher profile cases. Meantime, the Grand Bahama Port Authority is speaking out in response to Prime Minister Philip Davis's address at the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce business meeting on Monday, when the Prime Minister said the Grand Bahama Port Authority has not kept its obligations to the people of the Bahamas and to the people of Freeport, Grand Bahama in particular. He said despite selling off major assets, the Grand Bahama Port Authority did not reinvest into the city of Freeport. Well, the Port Authority, in a statement on Wednesday, is reassuring its stakeholders that it remains focused on the task at hand, which it says includes delivering more than $2 billion in investments to Freeport. Meantime, the Grand Bahama Port Authority says it is important that it corrects any inaccurate, incomplete, or selective representations regarding matters that impact its stakeholders. To this end, the authority says it intends to host a live event with its stakeholders to ensure that all matters discussed in the public domain are placed in their proper context and that the historical record is set straight. Meanwhile, the dispute between the government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority regarding the $357 million the government says it is owed by the authority is now headed to arbitration. And finally, in a letter addressed to F&M National Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands on Wednesday, Burton Miller, chairman of Dr. Hubert Minister's 2024 campaign for re-election as leader of the F&M, raised concerns over the quick constituency association elections now taking place shortly after the Central Council of the party voted to hold a special one-day convention on June 1st and following the recent nomination process held on May 3rd. Mr. Miller said the Minis team finds this practice to be unsettling and deeply concerning and raised questions on the validity and fairness of the constituency elections. As a result, Dr. Minis is asking the party to halt the constituency association elections until after the party has completed the one-day convention and a new leader is chosen on June 1st. That'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. It's been a pleasure to have you join us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.